And here we have our short video for years 10 and 11, helping your daughter help herself. So, first thing to remember is the exam board that we are using at the moment is GCSE Edexcel 1MA1. There's 3 papers, 90 minutes each. Paper 1 is a non-calculator, papers 2 and 3 are calculator papers, as it says on the slide. This is a change from previous years where it was 1 calculator paper, 1 non-calculator paper. So it means that these days you can work on those skills in using a calculator. Each paper is worth 80 marks, giving a total of 240 marks. 2 tiers of entry. Higher, 9 to 4, which you could get a 3, is allowable, but if you drop off the bottom there you get nothing. And then the foundation, 5 to 1. Now, a 9 you could think about as being an A double star. A 4 is the old C grade. A 5 is a high C/low B, so we call it a B grade basically. And a 1 aligns itself to the old-fashioned G grade. Now we have found that if you're a grade 4 or 5, the exam board advice is to actually sit the foundation paper. And what happened last year when the first exam came through was we did find that comparable students, if they sat the higher, they didn't get beyond the 5, and some of them got a 4 instead of a 5, whereas comparable students who sat the foundation actually got the 5s, which we were surprised about. There's the new GCSE grades. A and A star mixes 7, 8 and 9. B and C is spread over 3 grades now. If you're doing A-level philosophy at Colliers, you have to get a 6. If you're doing a science A-level, you need a 6. If you need to do psychology, last year at Colliers they allowed us to have either a grade 4 or 5 or above. So 4 would be fine. Entry to universities, it has to be a grade 4 in English and Maths. Last year with Edexcel, 52% took the higher tier, 48% took the foundation. Now that's a big shift. In previous years, you'd have a much higher percentage taking the higher tier, but because the amount of topics has been expanded, there's a lot more students now being put in for the foundation, which we think is sensible. In previous years, we'd put sets 1 to 5 into higher, with some set 5 students taking foundation, but now we're looking more at sets 1 to 3 definitely doing higher. Set 4, it depends on the group, so they might do higher, they might do foundation, and we often split the group. But set 5 and 6 should be doing foundation. There on the screen it says again that a 6 is required for A-level sciences and A-level philosophy. And again, this is what I've already said, that we do believe it's better to take foundation if you're a 4 or 5. We will talk to you and your daughter about that. And we do listen to what you say, and if your daughter really needs a 6, then we can support her in taking the higher, even though it's against what we believe. But we will talk to you and your daughter about that after the mocks in November. What's very different is 50% of the higher tier grade is 7 to 9 questions. That means A and A star. On the old higher paper, 25% only was A and A star. So it's a much tougher paper. What the exam boards have done is, though, they've brought down the grade boundaries. In olden days, it'd be somewhere around 80–85% for an A star, whereas we've found that it's a lower percentage in the 70s to get a 9. However, it can be very disconcerting when you have to take a paper that you can't do 75% of it. There are the grade boundaries for this year: 18% for a 4 and higher, 52% for 4 on a foundation. On an old foundation paper for a grade C, it'd be about 75%. You might think 18% is easy to get on a higher. Well, if you start to get stuck at the beginning, you're not going to make up the marks. So it's very dangerous to gamble by taking the higher paper just because it's an 18%. If you go much below that, you'll end up with nothing. So there's our grade boundaries: 18% for 4 on a higher, 52% 4 on a foundation. The actual grades, these are all at 240, that can be seen here. I'll let you look at that yourself. And here's an example of a question there from an old-fashioned GCSE. So basically you're doing some expanding of brackets and factorising. Now, instead, on the new style of GCSE, it's got some of the same ideas about you having to expand brackets and factorise, but it's putting it in terms of a function of x, f of x, or g of x, which is another function. And so everything you were doing on that old A* question, you're then going to have to put it into a new topic called composite functions. So first of all, you have to work out f of x, and then as algebra, put that into g of x. A lot trickier. Preparation for the mocks. Well, this is once you get into year 11. And year 10 can be doing this as well. We have a Millet Twitter account that you can follow. I understand social media is a little bit dangerous these days, so you might want to have the account yourself, and then let your daughter then see what comes through to your phone or tablet. The account has to be accepted by me, so if you try to follow this account, I have to double check who it is. Basically, I don't want any sort of strange person just following our account when most of the people following it are teenage girls. So we're trying to have a bit of safety there. We do put all of these materials onto the Moodle as well, but then that relies on your daughter going to the Moodle and looking each day. Whereas if it comes through to your phone, it's almost like an alarm or a reminder. I tend to tweet every day. Sometimes I might tweet 2 or 3 days in one go, if it's a weekend. But we've got this up and running for November. We'll have it up and running again for the March mock that we do, that's actually done in our classrooms, and for the real exam. Hopefully, by the 3rd time round, your daughters are really happy and confident with the material. We've subscribed to something called Hegarty Maths, which is costing us quite a lot of money, but we think it's worth it. Basically, if your daughters use the Hegarty Maths regularly, they will find that they improve their grades quite measurably. For details on that, your daughter's got a password. Ask your daughter to show you how it works, and there are some introduction videos on Hegarty Maths. Here's an example of how the page opens up. You'll notice it shows you how many hours you've been on the site, how many hours of videos you've watched. It's also got, in this far corner, it's your skill donut, so it'll show you how many of the 619 key skills your daughter's actually mastered. It's a really good idea to have a look at Hegarty Maths. It's a very, very good website. Not only does it have a list of what should be going on, it understands what your daughter can and can't do. And so there's something called a Fix-Up 5. So things that your daughter has previously got wrong, if she presses the Fix-Up 5 button, she will then be given 5 questions on things she's not done very well at. So it's concentrated practice on things that you need to practice, rather than practicing things that you know you've already mastered. Good quote from David Beckham. And I think you will see that an awful lot of people that we regard as a genius, and I'm not saying David Beckham is, people like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, they worked with their talent. So deliberate practice. As you can see there, very effective. Work on things you're weak at regularly and improve. But try it first. Don't just look at it and not do it. Have a go and then get help. The Hegarty Maths website will help a lot at home. There's some other great free sites out there. We always recommend Corbett Maths, which has got more videos than Hegarty, but it is just a free site where it doesn't track your progress. Mr. Barton's Maths Takeaway, if you Google that, that'll give specific topic advice. So say you want to practice factorising quadratics or Pythagoras, there'll be GCSE questions on Pythagoras with a video and the solutions. Same thing happens with Kesh Maths. On Maths is a very important site. It basically puts up a GCSE paper that they've made and lets you have multiple attempts at it until you get better. So it's similar questions and they just change the numbers. That's very, very handy as well. So I recommend you Googling on Maths and trying that. Again, it's a free website. And now we go on to some basic material. We've created our own website called Learning Lighthouses that runs from year 7 onwards. Now, the material takes you from grade 1 GCSE all the way through to grade 9. And again, we have 6 checkpoints during the year, so every half term the students get tested on the lighthouse they're on. If they get 11 out of 12 questions perfectly correct, they move up to the next grade. Now, we've put the website together over the summer. On there, you'll once you go to this website, you'll find there's a student area where it's got tests to practice. It's also then got additional questions to practice, and it's got videos linking to every one of the objectives. It starts nice and simply, so the Lighthouse 2, 3 and 4 roughly equates to grades 2, 3 and 4. It doesn't cover it all, but it does the basic skills. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 get progressively harder. We've got very few girls who are on Lighthouse 9 at the moment in the school. Very few. But it will give them a lot of practice, and it will give them video links to go and get some help that we've created ourselves. If your daughter's year 10 or 11 doing additional maths and statistics, we've got some further help for you. We've made our own site again called 6993.webs.com. It's got the entire additional maths syllabus on, including past paper topics, video links to short videos I've made that will help your daughter with your ad maths. It also has full past papers on with mark schemes. So pretty much everything you need to be revising this is on there. It's very useful from the start of year 10 to be using it, even more useful in year 11 when you're down to real hard exam revision. There's a spelling there, unfortunately. Corbett, take the E out. Corbett Maths A-Level. We've talked about Corbett Maths earlier of the GCSE. That's also got a brilliant A-Level section. And there is another site that's worth looking at that I've not listed here called Dr. Frost Maths. Frost as in Jack Frost. That's worth looking at as well, because a lot of the A-Level maths, Core 1 and Core 2, comes into the additional maths syllabus. For statistics, there is a lot less out there. However, our My Maths section of GCSE statistics, the girls have got a login for that as well. If you go there, that will take you through the GCSE statistics. It's worth remembering that there's also a statistics section on our school Moodle, which has got lots of past papers on and mark schemes. And just briefly looking through here, you'll find that this set of slides, you can go to the website learninglighthouses.webs.com, and if you go to the other goodies section on there, you'll see when you log in, I've put all of these slides into an Adobe file so that you can have a look at these at your leisure. But this is just going through the different lighthouses as they get harder and harder and harder, where we finish off with the final slide. I think you'll find that that's quite demanding. A lot of coordinate geometry, a lot of things that might involve completing the square or factorising complicated quadratics. If your daughter is more foundation and needs to practice the basics, we still have ninja tests. Now, we've not written these. If you Google numeracy ninjas, there's lots of basic skills tests. 5-minute ninjas are very, very useful. This will take you up to about grade 4. So if your daughter's in one of the lower groups, this is a very easy thing to do for 5 minutes a day. We've also done a pared down version on the Moodle as well. Here's some examples of the ninjas. The basics of being able to add, subtract, multiply and divide. Even though you feel that you're past practicing that, always keep practicing it. It makes you more fluent, and it gives you more working memory to be able to then work on the other parts of your mathematics. Column 3 here, this one at this end, that's more of your grade 2, 3 and 4 of your GCSE, so that's very much worth practicing. If your daughter really needs to be practicing her times tables, we've subscribed to a site called Times Tables Rockstars. Again, that's useful. Please don't miss out the basics, especially if you're a foundation student. What we do at the start of every module that we give the girls, we give them a little what's coming up objective sheets. So if you look here, this is on equations. That will tell you exactly what needs to be done. That should be glued into your daughter's book. And after the end of a module, and after the end of a mock, we give them a post-assessment sheet, which will say what your daughter scored, out of how many marks, so which areas to work on. Here's a list of all the websites I've spoken about so far, so this is worth looking back on. And don't forget to include learninglighthouses.webs.com that we built ourselves. Using Corbett Maths, if you watch some of these videos, it will show you very easily what to do. You watch a video, you try some of the questions, you mark it, you see where you've gone wrong, and then maybe go back to it again. And your job as a parent, just encourage all the time. Talk to your daughter, say, try the problem. Look at what you did in class. Does that help you? I mean, we have a saying. We have a saying in maths, a brain, book, buddy, boss. So the brain is try the problem. Book, look in your book, or there's other online help. Buddy, well, there's nobody at home, so it's going to be you as a parent. So talk to you should get your daughter to talk through a problem with you. And then you don't have to be a maths expert. Just say, well, why did you do that? How did you do that? What do your notes say about that? Where could you get help? Try to stay away from saying things like, oh, I wasn't very good at that at school myself. Just relate maths to anything else you do in life. That if you practice it, you will get better. Growth mindset is something that's out there at the moment in educational circles. Some of it's not all research driven, so some of it could be taken with a pinch of salt. But there's a great column there of instead of try thinking. And another one that isn't there is I can't do this. Say I can't do this yet, but I will get there. So just be positive, encourage your daughter. This I've heard from Mr. Hegarty. Don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. It's no good just conquering it and getting one question right. Do it time and time again until you've actually got the whole thing right. And you can't go wrong. That's the best way of getting really, really good at something. Professional golfer will practice their swing every single day, thousands of times. Our Twitter feed, @MilletMaths. Please come and join us if you feel that it's reasonable for your daughter to use social media. On the Twitter feed, we send out Corbett's 5-a-days. And we send out notes, such as these. Very good revision notes. And we also put extra notes in like this as well. And the appendices, these are just all the objectives from our lighthouses. Now, if your daughter could conquer all of those, she would be doing very, very well. So it's a great revision list, and you can find that on learninglighthouses.webs.com. Go to the goodies section, and you'll find a Year 11 Parent Workshop PDF file. Hope this has been of use to you. If you want to, please feel free to get in touch with me at Millet. You can contact me at dolemaths@millet.org.uk. And there we have it. Thank you for watching.